all-new WMEG Radio.
When truth doesn't matter anymore.
Good morning. Welcome to The Outsiders. I'm your host, Sean Sims, and I am with my extraordinary co-host, Kim Banks.
Good morning, everyone.
I want to start off by letting the folks know that we have a special in-studio guest. Our first in-studio guest, Marlo Hargrove, CEO and founder of F.A.C.E, Freedom Advocates Celebrating Ex-Offenders and Speakers with Sneakers, SWS Youth Outreach Supportive Program. Welcome, Marlo, to the studio.
Grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. We are going to have an in-depth interview with Marlo about his organization and what they do. Also, we're going to be speaking about, well, what's been going on. It's been flying under the radar. But guess what? The Outsiders, we picked it up. You're not going to let this little bleep. There was a little bleep that's in the news, and no one's picked it up. I haven't seen it. Maybe someone has, but I haven't heard really much about it, and that's Mayor Scott, a story flying way under the media radar, but the Outsiders, we picked it up, and with all of the attention, rightfully so now, around the Timothy Reynolds and Tavon Scott squeegee shooting and subsequent ruling by Judge Dorsey, that it's going to stay in adult court, so it's not going to go to the juvenile court system, and also the Democrats losing the House. That's another story. Big story that's out there. And you know what? I want to compare. There's been a lot of scuttlebutt about how the Republicans, they were going to have this big, huge red wave that was just going to terrorize the Democrats. And the Republicans would not only take over the House, but the Senate, and it would just be a shellacking. And I'm going to compare that to, let's say the Ravens were favored by 21 points. Dare I say, 28 points over the Steelers. And I'm just using this as an example. And the game starts, and it looks like the Ravens are going to just beat the crap out of the Steelers, which I love to see. I love seeing the Ravens beat the crap. Actually, I love seeing anybody beat the crap out of the Steelers. But let's say that we had that situation, and then it didn't end up that way. The Ravens didn't trounce the Steelers, and people thought it was going to be a shellacking, but Justin Tucker winds up kicking a last-minute three-pointer. Now, it's not the same situation that you thought was going to happen, that the Ravens were going to dominate, but in sports, a win is a win, whether it's by 3 points. And trust and believe, I've gone through many situations watching the Ravens where it's like a cardiac arrest because you don't know what's going to happen at the last minute. But a win is a win. So let's put things in perspective. People are very upset. Donald Trump announced his bid to make history by being the first person to win the presidency, lose it, then if successful, win it again. Never been done. And you know, with Trump's ego, he's got the ego the size of Montana.
Yes.
With his ego, to do something that's never been done before, you know he, and Kim, I know every time I say his name it makes you cringe.
Yes.
I know it does, but he's put his bid in officially, and with all this news going on, this Mayor Scott story that's flying way under the radar, we're going to talk about that as well. And I also like to give a shout out to an exquisite person and an exquisite event that I attended last night, and that was the birthday party of a good friend of mine, Linda Felder. Linda Felder, dear friend of mine, she did a birthday entrance. It was a scene from Cleopatra. She's dressed as Cleopatra. You should have seen this. It was unbelievable. With the gear on, with the headdress, just like the picture of Cleopatra, okay, with Liz Taylor. But she has this red outfit on, and they cart her in. She's on this dais, I guess, and bring her in. It was unbelievable. People taking pictures, and it was something else. And with her organization is the Felder House of Etiquette. It's a nonprofit based here in Baltimore, and for 27 years has given the youth in the community training in fashion and life skills. And maybe she'll come on the show. I kind of whispered it, Linda, you got to come on the show. It's unbelievable. But I'd love to have her on as a guest. And it's really about helping the youth, the young people, which is what Marlo does as well. And they've been getting a lot of negative press lately, but there are positive youth programs and youth out there doing things. And we'll also be discussing the Baltimore City School CEO and how many are calling for her resignation. So that's what we're going to be talking about. But let's get in to what Marlo Hargrove is doing with the Freedom Advocates celebrating ex-offenders. And Kim, I know you got a few questions that you want to ask Marlo, and as Lottie has to say about his organization. So, Marlo, how are things working with that organization?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity and for giving me the breath of life to be able to do anything, because matters could be worse.
Absolutely.
I also want to acknowledge my wife, Sonja Hargrove, who stands beside me through all of this, the chaos, the good, the bad, and or indifferent, to be able to be that voice in the background that's pushing and encouraging me to continue to push on. Sometimes I feel like giving up, but she showed me the sound mind of knowing that what I'm doing is not in vain.
That's right.
And what I'm doing is not for me, but it's for the youth, for those that are out there that used to be me as well.
Yes.
So now I'm feeling compelled to be able to go back in the storm in these poverty communities and to extend supportive services, and not only supportive services, but reliable services that they can depend on, not just for the moment, but for the movement to become better.
Yes. Now, Marlo, you've been in business for about 20 years. How did you come up with the name for your business?
Well, actually, the name F.A.C.E. is an acronym which stands for Freedom Advocates Celebrating Ex-Offenders. And it's basically what it entails. Freedom, to be able to have the freedom of speech. An advocate to be able to speak on the behalf of. And celebrating the fact that we're able to do and be able to be productive members of society. And also ex mean your ex-wife, your ex-girlfriend, your ex-job, and offenders, which simply means to have done wrong. So one way, form, or another, we are all ex-something.
Isn't that the truth? Yes, that is so true. Now, do you run your business? How do you run it? Are you just doing everything by yourself, or do you have like staff or like a team in place?
It is a team approach, and we have some supportive providers who gives us the strength, the willpower, the monetary donations to be sustainable. And with the end of 20 years that we've been fortunate to do the work that we do here, mental health, psychosocial therapy, case management, mentoring for the youth as well as adults, and in prisons and the whole 9 yards. But we have been self-sustainable. We're not broken. You know, we are not begging, but we're building.
Yes.
So it's been a tremendous strive thus far. You know, and again, well, that's another segment or another conversation around the funding support from the mayor's office, that we have not gotten this grant support, but we do have the support of those who believe in the work that we do.
Okay. Now, what types of services does F.A.C.E. offer? Because I read that you provide housing assistance as a service. So, what type of housing and how are people able to get the housing if they need it from you? How would they contact you?
Well, we do have a website. The website information is www.face, F-A-C-E, Baltimore, one word, .org. We also have a contact number where they can reach us directly, which is 410-522, the words FACE, F-A-C-E, which stands for 3223.
Okay.
And the services that are being rendered, and when you mentioned about housing, it's transitional housing.
Okay.
To help them to come in, step up, and then step out. We want to not just house them, but help them. And in our helping them, we engage. We empower them. We do an assessment prior to them coming into the housing facility to see if they meet those criteria. And those criteria mean the willingness to want to change themselves from where they are to become better. So that is contingent upon us meeting with them where they are, whether it's in prison, on the streets, homeless, in these poverty communities, and being able to reach them at a level where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, not just with their actions, but more so with their words. And now let me rephrase it, not so more so with their words, but with their actions. And showing that they're not just saying they want to change, but the willingness to do it, and we can guide them and help them to get through it.
Fantastic. I think that's wonderful, and it's so needed in Baltimore City. So I'm just some further questions on how I'm just curious about how this thing works. So say are they walking into a location and you sit down and you interview them and assess them that way? I mean, you know, people that come in off the street, are they coming to a location to talk to you?
We get referrals made that will contact us and say, hey, we have someone that we think fit the criteria of your program. And what happens is, wherever they are, we're not expecting, now mind you,
to walk to you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we go to where they are, whether it's incarcerated, in prison, institutions, out on the street corner. You know, we are community activists, so we go to the people and not expect for the people to come to us.
Fantastic. And the actual housing, is there like, where is the housing? How do you have this housing available? Is it privately donated, or do you have a building, an apartment complex that you use?
Yes, we have a house over near the Morgan State College area.
Okay.
Which it is 1564 Sheffield Road.
Okay.
Baltimore, Maryland 21218.
Okay.
That is our transitional housing setting. However, it's over near the Morgan State College area where they're homeowners.
Okay.
And we don't advocate that, hey, we're ex-offenders or we're returning citizens or we're here, we're this and we're that. We engage with the homeowners to be able to cut some grass, to shovel some snow. So you gotta be willing to give back.
Yeah.
Not just coming and saying, hey, I'm here, I'm needy. It's about helping others that need the help.
Fantastic. And it puts the residents in the area, I'm sure,
to feel safe.
Yeah. Right. At ease.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I also read that you provide, like, is it Narcan? You train people how to use that, because in Baltimore City we have a terrible drug epidemic.
Yes, absolutely.
So how much of a need have you found there to be in Baltimore where we have to have this Narcan training?
Yes, it is essentially needed here in Baltimore, because we know the fentanyl is at an all-time high here in Baltimore City alone.
Yes.
And we target certain areas that we know that it may be prevalent. But however, it's here, it's killing people, and it's evident. So what we do, again, we don't just give them to them. We engage and train them on how to utilize the Narcan effectively with one of our partners that we have collaborated with to be able to go again to institutions. Because again, we don't expect people to reach out and say, hey, we need help. in all totality. But what we do is we let them know it's available.
Okay.
And we don't force
Yes.
it on them. We let them know here's other options if you're ready and willing. And I can't stress that enough of being willing.
Yes.
Because people know there's help out there just as well as they know that there's fentanyl out there.
Yes.
But we let them know that, hey, here's a reliable program that's suitable here in Baltimore to help the epidemic as when it comes to the fentanyl and Narcan training.
Okay, do you also provide the Narcan?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so I know you were talking about not receiving a lot of help from the city, but where is the majority of your funding coming from? Are you charging fees to your clients, to people that come to you? Do you charge at all for that?
Yes, we do have a sliding scale fee.
Okay.
We do have, I love the word reliable. We have reliable, supportive providers and they donate and contribute to our organization, and I'm grateful for them.
Guys,
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt.
But yes, we do.
Could you get a little closer to the mic, Marlo? Because our
Yes.
listeners say, we want to hear it. What he's saying is good. We can't, it's hard to hear.
Oh, okay. I
So
thought
if
you
you get a
was
little
speaking
bit in the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to hear everything that Marlo has to say, so I want to make sure he speaks in the mic so everyone can hear, because this is vital information. He's doing a great work here.
Yes.
Make sure everybody hears you, Marlo. So I'm sorry, Kim, go ahead and continue.
Okay. So, you're getting funds from partners out there in the community.
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
yeah, you were thinking. What are some of those partners?
Well, I choose not to disclose
Okay.
who those partners
Okay.
are.
Oh, that's
You
a
know?
secret.
I respect that.
Yes.
Hush, hush.
Yes, because again, it puts them out in a position where, you know, what they do for one, then they may expect others to want
I
to do it as well.
understand.
So again, and I say that to say this, because we're in a society where there's like gimme, take, gimme.
That's true.
But, you know, and there are organizations that believe in the work, support the work that
Yes.
FACE is doing, so I don't disclose who they are because, again, what they're doing for FACE, they may not be doing for the other agencies that they're partnering with. And then they're like, oh, I heard that FACE and you're doing, well, why are you not doing this for me?
Yes.
Or this agency?
Yes.
So I
That
choose
makes
to keep
sense.
that.
That makes
Yes. I'm so loving this conversation, Sean. How much time? Am I doing good on my time?
Keep on,
Okay,
bro. I have a quick
good.
question though.
Good, okay.
I don't mean to interrupt. I have a question because I did tell you I might jump in with a few questions. I hear something and then my ears perked up. No, wait a
Okay.
second. Wait a sec. You said earlier that you haven't. I want to make sure it was have or haven't. I have my notes here. Gotten the mayor's support, or is that true?
That's very true. And it can be documented, it can be shown. We have data to prove that we submitted several grant
Wow.
proposals
Wow.
to the denial of saying that we don't fit the criteria. Now, mind you, we're not a fly-by-night organization. We've been working and doing this work diligently for 20 consecutive years. And we've submitted several proposals only to be denied, and to be told that we don't fit the criteria. Now, mind you, what is the criteria? So if there's something we're doing or not doing, then, you know, we're able to see if we can meet that standard. Because again, it's not about who gets the credit. For me, it's about God getting the glory.
Praise. Yes.
Well, have they given you? I'm from the business world. I'm a business professional. That's the world I'm coming from. My degree is in business. I've been involved in several businesses. And what normally happens is, and that is if you know what you're doing, they give you a list of the criteria that you need to meet. If you fulfill the list, at that point, they will put you on another list of folks that they are supporting, and then make a judgment call, probably based on who's at the higher tier level, or closest to where they want to be. Then they make the decision. So did you get a list of what criteria you need to meet?
Absolutely. I have a tremendous grant writer, supportive COO, by the name of Mr. Michael Harris. Not Michael Harris' son, from the Commissioner of Police, but Michael Harris.
Okay.
And I say that so profoundly because you have to have a certain score to even qualify for these grants. So when we're talking about the administrative business aspect of it, now let's be real. We're talking Baltimore. We're talking a city that's based of corruption.
Yes.
Let's put the nail. If you're not a part of this clique, and if you're not
That's
a part
right.
of that clique, submit me all your information, your blueprint of how you are operating, only for me to tell you you're doing a great job. However, but you don't meet the criteria because you're not a part of the clique.
Yes. It's
You know,
not about the services and
it's about
the benefit.
the benefits of who it benefits when it's not those who fall under this certain cap. So it's not really based off of the administrative part of meeting a quota.
Okay.
It's not a part about not meeting the criteria of being part of a certain type of clique.
Did they give you a specific example of how you didn't meet the criteria? Did they
No.
spell it out?
No.
Well, see, this is what I'm talking about. That's
No.
unprofessionalism.
It's very unprofessional, and I mean, it's not helpful at all. Because if you're about the business of improving the city, and you have wonderful people like Marlo trying to come up with these great programs to elevate the city, if you say they haven't met the criteria, why not give them some tips? Tell them what they're missing so that they can reapply and come back and be better prepared if in fact that's the real reason that you have denied this person access.
And how long has your organization been around? How long have you been
20
doing it?
consecutive years.
Okay, so you're talking 20 years. You just didn't get in this game.
No.
You know your stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I say all that to say, again, we have documented information. So documentation is better than conversation.
It sure is.
So we have the proof to back up what I'm saying.
Okay.
And then also real brief, if I may, when we look at Baltimore, we see some of the same organizations that are getting the funding. However, we're not talking about the negative or positive of what they're doing and what they're not doing. We're saying, give us a slice of the pie and allow us to do what we have document proof and documentation of doing so that we can enhance and better the youth who are out here killing and striving just to squeegee to stay alive.
Well,
Now, I'm sorry, Sean.
You go ahead. I have something to say, though.
Speaking on that whole squeegee fiasco, you had a lot to say, a lot of suggestions and things that you felt that you could do and that other people can do to assist in that whole squeegee collaborative.
Absolutely.
But you were not given a seat at the table.
Not at all.
Are you kidding?
What are some of the things that you would have said had Mayor Scott given you a seat at the table?
It went as far as reaching, I won't disclose what news station, however, it went and made the news that we was not a part of that, again, that sitting at the board to help support with the squeegee kids. Absolutely.
Did anyone give you a reason why not?
We didn't get a reason why. We didn't even get invited to the table. But what I will say this, with the founder of Kicks Dream United, along with, again, COO of F.A.C.E, Michael Harris, along with Program Director Archie Lee, along with my supportive wife, Marlo Hargrove, we have created what is something so uniquely different. We have speakers with sneakers. Sneakers is created actually to give those sneakers away to different youth and squeegee kids, not only as to give them the sneakers, but to empower them. And encourage them, to get them from off the street corners, to get them mental health, substance abuse, the wraparound services that's needed, mental health, so that they can be productive members of society. Because you give them a job and they take that money, but where's the sustainability that they have to learn how to live day to day? You can give me a fish that'll feed me for the moment, but I need to learn how to fish so that I can eat for a lifetime. And then begin to feed me and my family and my community going back into poverty.
That's right.
That's
right. See?
That's very wise as well. Again, because it's the businessman in me that just keeps jumping at this. Okay, you've been around for 20 years and you've done a lot for the city, and we know that a program called, what is it, Safe Streets, I believe, they get tons of dough. They get tons of dough, and with the effectiveness has been questioned greatly with this program, Safe Streets. Okay, your program, you can show it's been very effective.
Yes.
You didn't get a seat at the collaborative table, and you haven't gotten the mayor's support. To me, this is lunacy. This doesn't make any rational sense. And like you said, you have to be in the club. They got a club, a clique, and the outsiders. We and people of Baltimore trust and believe, and not just Baltimore, all over this nation, inner cities, all over the nation. You're an outsider. You are not in that clique.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's make this perfectly clear. And Kim, continue. We have a few more minutes, and then we're going to get into some other Mayor Scott business. But what else? Other questions did you have?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Marlo about the food distribution program. Do you still run that?
Absolutely, yes.
And can you tell us about it? Like, how does that go? And what are you providing exactly?
Well, we're actually having a food distribution on this coming Tuesday, which is next week, 2 days before Thanksgiving. We'll be giving out turkeys as well as non-perishable items, canned goods, sides as far as pies, you name it that goes along with the Thanksgiving meals.
Sure.
We're actually, and we strive to be in the heart of the heart. They call it the crazy zone. We call it the harvest field, because if we run and shy away from different ways and means of where it's greatly needed, then how is it going to get the help? But I'll be real brief. We're going to be there on Tuesday in Sandtown, Winchester area, Pennsylvania, North Avenue, hearts in the belly of the beast, the harvest field we call it. And we'll be doing anywhere between 500 to almost 800 boxes of food items.
Wow.
As well as turkeys. We've been doing it for the last 2 years in that area. 21217, where it's greatly needed. And again, we're just grateful for our partners who are helping us along the way to be able to provide these services. And we're known as one of the go-to programs that provide those boxes of food for the community.
I wanted to ask you if you could share who those partners are, but I realize you might not be able to tell me, but are these partners you can share?
Well, the partners that provide the food items, we work along with the University of Maryland, who is a tremendous, University of Maryland Medical Center, tremendous blessing, as well as the Maryland Food Bank. And with the Maryland Food Bank, like I say, we get anywhere between 500 to almost 1,000 boxes per month. And in those boxes, you have non-perishable items. Sometimes we may even get some sides, some meats that we're able to provide to the community. We'll have 100 turkeys that will be provided on this Tuesday through our blessings from the University of Maryland. So we're grateful for our partners.
Fantastic. Now, is there an actual, you gave me the general area, is there a building that folks can come to get these, or?
Yes, ma'am. That building location is in the West Baltimore area. It's at 1510 West Mosier Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21217. And they can also go to my Facebook page, which is Marlo A. Hargrove Sr., and see all the information that we have posted. It's actually the Harvey Johnson Towers. And again, that address is 1510 West Mosier Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21217.
Okay, and are you accepting volunteers?
We're accepting volunteers. We're accepting monetary donations. We are a 501c3 program to be able to get donations and contributions. So absolutely, we need all the volunteers we can get, and there's no limit on who can get what type of food. Everything must go. Okay,
because for a couple of years now, I've been trying to get a hold of Goodwill. I used to serve Thanksgiving dinners at the convention center.
Yeah.
When they had that, and I wanted to introduce my daughter into doing that because she's so spoiled. She's a brat.
Okay.
Really, I love her.
Oh,
Let me say
goodness.
that. But she is such a prima donna.
Okay.
So I wanted to come up with ways to teach her, to volunteer, and that she's so blessed, and there are so many people that don't have what she has.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised. She and I may be coming to you to help volunteer.
Absolutely. I'll put my contact information out as well. As contact number for anyone else, all are welcome to attend, is 410-522-3223, and our website is www.F.A.C.E.Baltimore.org.
Fantastic.
Thanks a lot, Marlo. I mean, that's great information to know that we have programs out there that are actually working, and we want you to stay.
He's a one-stop shop.
Stay here because Rocky got to cue this up. I'm going to start what is called going on the streets. I got to give it some kind of fancy name. I got to figure that out. But I want to go out and talk to the citizens of Baltimore City and then other places throughout the state, and then get some information from people and do some interviews other places throughout the country as well. But I have an interview with a Baltimore citizen, and we talked about it last week as far as the grade. What do you think of the mayor, how he's doing? But Rock, could you cue that up, the interview with Baltimore City? And that's cut one. Now, that interview was done, and there are going to be more. The outsiders are going to go outside, and I'm going to speak to the citizens and find out, I mean, what's their opinion, because we can sit here and pontificate and give our opinions on what's going on, but you want to get it straight from the true outsiders. And those are the citizens of Baltimore City. They're not in that clique, in that little club. So I'm going to be doing more of that. And what I spoke about earlier in the intro, there's a story flying way under the media radar. It's not being talked about basically because of all the other stories that are out there that are going on. I mean, you got a news cycle. There are a lot of things going on out there in the news. And first of all, I want to say, people, I've been listening all week long. Calm down, okay? Everybody seems to be just so, the sky is falling and worried, and what's going to happen? And the Republicans won the House. Oh, lordy, 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 what are we going to do? Calm down, okay? just take a breather, pump the brakes. Things are going to work out fine, okay? They do. The citizens of Baltimore, of Maryland, of the citizens of the U.S., we take care of business, okay? One way or another, things are going to work out. So just calm down, okay? I know people want to get the ratings, and they want people to listen to them, and they start getting all excited. What are we going to do? Cool your jets, okay? I want to say that. But what's going on with this story flying under the radar with Mayor Scott and Nike Instagram ad? Appears as though Mayor Scott put something on Instagram and he's posing with his little sweatsuit on and his little hoodie, and he's got his Nike shoes, and he's got a green Nike stripe on the white tennis shoes, and he's posing, and I'm going, okay. And he took that sucker down off of Instagram because somebody might have said, hey, wait a second, maybe you don't want to be promoting the organization like that. But here's the Nike ad. Cut to Rock. This is the Nike ad.
It's a beautiful device of how Baltimore exists. Tell the story of the airport. Tell the story of Baltimore and its people. When the street was released in 1986, they were hustled to the area to level up. Nike took a risk and it paid off. By the 90s, the street was a staple in cities up and down the East Coast. Take note that Baltimore is the originator of the Air Force One. The Air Force One was counted as Baltimore. 20 years after its arrival, the Air Force One still stands. And Nike has Baltimore to thank.
I'm a boss now, 40 years still on my feet.
You're already up, but it still was here. 40 years of excellence with Nike, Air Force One, and God save the war. These voices, great forces, system culture, system trends. Decade after decade after decade.
My shot come off my body and I'm gonna say just do it like Nike. The struggle is released like 1 year on film on spice. Together we work, but we work for this time. Now baby, just a product that ain't a crime. It's 2027.
Be a voice, be a force. Be like Baltimore. Be a rip.
Well, actually, Nike has slave labor to thank for their products and the making of them, and human traffickers, and those who have been trafficked by organizations, countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and all over South Asia, and those China, etc. Those countries use slave labor to make the Nike products. So that's who needs to be thanked. Let's thank the people who truly have made Nike profitable. And those are the slave laborers that Nike uses for their products. And you know what? Maybe someone must have said, Mayor, we think that you should take down an Instagram account because Nike is associated with slave labor, so maybe you might want to take that down. This time Brandon listened to someone. This time he actually listened and he took it down. And I have a few, I guess, subject matter directly on Nike. And Rock, I'd like you to play that so that people can hear exactly what's going on with Nike and slave labor. Cut 3.
Former American soccer pro Jim Keady has spent a month living in a Jakarta slum trying to survive on funds he says are equivalent to the average local Nike worker's wages. Jim Keady joins me in our Sydney studio. Jim, thanks for your time. Thank you for having me. And how long were you doing that? For 1 month. And how did you go? I lost about 25 pounds and was hungry, tired, to the point of exhaustion nearly every day. Whereabouts were you living, Jim? In Tangerang, which is an industrial suburb outside of Jakarta. I invite you to come to Tangerang, Indonesia with me. I would be more than willing to go back for another month and to live on the wages of the factory workers and have the Nike executive live with me on those wages. And then we'll see at the end of the month if their tune doesn't change about how Nike treats their workers in Indonesia. And also, it's been well documented. There's been a lot made through the years of the fact that developing countries, a lot of these sneakers, Nike sneakers, have been produced. It costs them something like $1 or $2. They sell them, in the inner city in this country to aspiring basketball players and people who just want to be like the best of them for $100 a pair, right? And so this also puts a spotlight on that, like, whoa, how are these shoes made? I know, like, with designer sneakers that are a lot of money, I prefer wearing name-brand sneakers like Nike or A6 or something because they put, so much money into designing. That's all they do. They design sneakers. They know how to make your foot feel good. That's their core business, right? But also, they're made inexpensively, and when something like this happens, it points it out. It has a terrible look for Nike. The bad look
Yes, it's a bad look for Nike. It's also a bad look for Mayor Brandon Scott. Naughty, naughty, naughty mayor. Bad mayor. Bad. You're bad mayor.
It is not a good look.
That is terrible. You're talking about supporting an organization and posing on your little picture on Instagram like you're a badass with your little Nike tennis shoes on. And the whole time Nike has been utilizing human trafficked people all over the world and using slave labor like internment camps to make this product. And you're gonna, who is advising him? See, if I was advising him, the first thing I would have said when Nike came to him with this idea of promoting Baltimore and saying, well, Baltimore's helped Nike and utilizing it, I would have said, you know what? That all may be true, but maybe it's not a good look because they're utilizing slave labor. What do you think? Rock, you're sitting over there quiet. What do you think of this business with slave labor? Rock, my engineer. What do you think of this business with the slave labor? I mean, yeah, I know you can be opinionated.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to let y'all do y'all thing.
No, you don't.
You're a part of the team, Brock.
You're a part of this team, so don't.
But my opinion is a little different.
Okay, go ahead.
My opinion is a little
love
different.
different opinions.
Because I think we're poking an animal that don't need to be poked. We want to beat up Brandon, but ain't nobody beating up Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the biggest advertiser for Nike.
He's next on the list.
I know, but if we was going to pick on somebody, shouldn't we went for the Giant first?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Rock. Michael Jordan and the Baltimore Ravens, who I think in the NFL, supporting Nike with the emblem on everywhere, I think is a bad look, and I think it's stupid. But when it comes to an elected official, let's point this out. He is an elected official.
But he wasn't compensated for it.
Okay, well, you know,
So we want to
tomato. You're still an elected official. It's a bad look, whether you're compensated or not.
But I think, you know, and we all have the means of disagreeing.
We have to.
I think we're picking on Brandon. You know,
It's so easy to do, though. I mean, he puts it out there, so you can't. I mean, he puts it out there, so you gotta say something. So
whatever happened to you?
He's an elected official. He's wearing the big boy pants.
Right.
He's wearing the big boy pants, so you got to be able to take the heat, baby.
But okay, so you're saying the whole time he's been in office, he hasn't done anything right? Is that what you're
I have
saying?
never said that.
All right, so
I only point out what's going on with the story flying way under the media radar, and it's this Nike business.
but we're so quick to glorify his wrongs. We don't, some days, you know, I look at him and say, man, you shouldn't have did that, you shouldn't have did this.
That's a lot of days you must be doing that.
Right, but the whole point I'm trying to make is we don't spend enough time. I'm gonna give you a parallel of what happened yesterday.
Okay.
I DJ'd a function yesterday called Donuts with Dads, right? It was 300 black men in Govins Elementary yesterday with the kids. And I purposely put it on my social media to say that not enough is being said about the positives of black men.
Of black men, especially black fathers.
Yes. The first thing we want to do is call them deadbeats. They ain't doing this and doing that. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to show another side of it. Mm-hmm. So that's the same thing I'm trying to talk about the mayor right now. Everybody, yes, we do have an obligation to put everything out there, but why not balance it out? If we got 3 things to say about what he did wrong, let's find 3 things to say about what he did right.
Okay,
let's tell the whole story.
Could you name 3 things?
I probably could if I really took time to create a list. No, I don't think it would take a while. I just haven't.
Things that were done wrong. It would take no.
Because we're always looking for the wrong.
No, I'm looking for the positive. That's why we have Marlo here. Marlo literally just said, here's one of the things he's done wrong. Didn't have his organization at the table, and this man has plenty of experience. So there you go. There's one right there off the bat.
So why not let's discuss that issue today as opposed to diving into.
We did discuss it.
We did, but what I'm saying is, as opposed to bringing up the whole Nike thing that had absolutely nothing to do with him running the city, had absolutely no effect on our community or what's going on with his views as far as the squeegee kids and the police narrative and things like that. What we're doing is we're creating more of a negative on-site against him, because it really never the whole Nike ad had nothing to do with his job as a mayor.
Don't you like it the way Rock defends?
It's okay.
I mean, but I do have something to say. Okay, what you're saying is true to an extent. However, I have to keep going back to the fact that no, he didn't get paid, and as far as his job and his performance, which has been lackluster to say the least, it has nothing to do with that. However, because you're an elected official, people look at you and they say, wait a minute, I'm going to be voting for this guy. Do I want to vote for somebody who's supporting an organization that uses slave labor and human trafficked people? So you have to look at that aspect as well. Hello.
I hear you.
I got your tongue?
No, I ain't got my tongue, but we'll be sitting there forever because Brandon didn't use human trafficking. Brandon didn't use...
He wore Nikes.
Okay, and you've
And
never
an
had a
ad.
pair of Nikes in your life.
In an ad.
But you've never had a pair of Nikes
Stopped
in your
wearing
life.
them after I found out they were using human trafficked people in slave labor. I stopped you. And as a matter of fact, Puma, oh, I love Puma. I've been wearing Pumas. Speaking of an organization that does not use, slave labor, and they don't. And I've been wearing Puma since I was a kid. I played baseball, I played football, I played soccer. Even when I was training for bodybuilding competitions, I was wearing Puma. I still wear Pumas today because when I found out that Nike was using slave labor, I pulled away from the Nike brand, the Nike product. I told my wife, pull away from it. My family members, just don't use them. So, I practice what I preach, and I'm a Puma guy.
There are a lot of other companies, though.
Exactly.
They're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Like Gap, H&M, Adidas, Urban Outfitters, Abercrombie and Fitch,
And I stay away from
Lululemon, TJ Maxx,
I stay away
Ross.
from them as much as possible.
You
If I
know,
find
so
out
there
that, I
are
stay
a
away
lot
from
of
them.
companies
I'm a
that
concerned
we don't
citizen.
even know about.
Yeah, but that's why people should do their research. And with that, we're gonna continue on that. And the Michael Jordan thing with the Nikes and LeBron James and all that. They're not elected officials, but this person is also not an elected official. Dr. Sonja Santelises, who's getting paid, I guess allegedly, with her perks and salary combined, $450K to be the superintendent of the school, and the school system is going down the toilet. The scores are going down, and I'm trying to figure out how can you, again, we were talking about performances, how can you perform at such a low level? And I mean, the average Baltimore, or the average school superintendent, I should say, in the nation is making maybe like 150. So she's making $300,000 more than you. And Baltimore is not New York or Chicago. It's got less than 600,000 people. And even the superintendent for Chicago school system makes considerably less than she does. So could somebody please explain? And people are calling for a resignation. I believe rightfully so, because you're not performing. Dr. Sonja, your performance is not up to par to your massive salary and perks included. So what?
Our Baltimore City schools are in the toilet.
Oh my goodness, the scores.
And
what's
our
going on?
students, the way that they communicate, it is evident that they're not getting the education that they need.
Well, we're going to touch on that matter more. We're going to talk about that matter more. I'd like to give a shout out to my mom's friend, Ms. Rosalind Smith. She passed away yesterday, and she was a community activist and a really, really nice lady. And Brittany Griner, she's in China with the Pinot camp. She plays in used to play in the WNBA, I believe. But her uncle actually helped to lead Ms. Rosalind Smith to Christ as a Christian years ago. So I guess, she was really a nice lady, and at least we know she's in heaven now. And I wanted to give that shout out to her, a community activist and a really quality lady. So what we want to do is, with the show, I mean, we're getting ready to end this show, but we want to let people know, yes, there are positive organizations that are out there that are doing good for the city, and Marlo Hargrove and his organization, the Freedom Advocates Celebrating Ex-Offenders, or F.A.C.E., okay, the acronym F.A.C.E., they're doing a great work out here, and Marlo, we'd like to thank you for being in studio with us.
Yes, indeed. And thank you for continuing to do what you do, even when you don't get the support that you prefer and that you deserve.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. I'll be real brief, 10 seconds. There has to be a level of accountability across the board, you know, from Mayor Scott to the elected officials as well as the school boards. It's easy to point the finger, but we all are held accountable.
Yes, I believe that too.
True.
Thank you.
We all have to take action.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
We do. We all have to take action, and we need to, vet those. People who are running for office, when an election comes up, people, this is people all over the country. Okay, this is for everyone. When an election comes up, look at who's running. I mean, whether they're there for you, whether they're not there for you, whether they're campaigning, whether they're actually getting work done, whether they're in the community. I mean, to just sit on your tuchus, as my Jewish brothers would say, and not do anything is just, I mean, it's absurd, it's ridiculous. And I mean, that just sticks in my craw, to just not do anything, not perform, and perform poorly and get paid a lot of money, and then to be elected and do nothing, or just on a name only. I mean, I just don't understand it. Kim, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't understand it either. But it's going to continue to happen until citizens, we make some moves.
And the recall, I'll keep saying it, you have to push for a law for recalling those who are elected officials who are responsible for the look that they give, wearing certain clothes and tennis shoes, wink wink, what organizations they push, what organizations they leave out of the conversation. Marlo knows all about that. Okay, so all that needs to be taken in consideration, and the folks need to look at what is going on around them. So we're going to end this episode.
Before we end, I neglected to ask Marlo one last question.
Sure.
Your event on Tuesday where you're providing the food, what time should people show up if they want to get a box or if they want to volunteer?
Well, we'll be setting up at 10 o'clock. If volunteers want to come, they can come as early as 10. And we'll be out there starting to provide the food items at 12
Okay.
until everything is gone.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Marlo, it's been great having you as a guest, and we're going to go ahead and wind down. Stay tuned. Tune again. Listen. Keep listening. Let your people know. Let your friends know. Your family members know, because the outsiders, we're coming. Those out there who are goofing off, messing up, screwing up, the corrupt, using credit cards to pay for government supplies. This is what's going on in Baltimore City. Commingling of funds. There are other issues. There are issues out there, and the outsiders, we're going to bring them to you. We're going to keep you informed. And I'll rock you ready to wind down. I love that countdown when you put that in. That's great. I love that. Okay, everyone. Talk to you, see you, and don't forget to pull us up on YouTube. Okay?
Yes, and be blessed.
And be blessed, everyone.
Peace.